Chelsea Football Club have a serious opportunity, and I am absolutely desperate that we take it, because after a season full of ups and downs and very little hope in the fan base, we now have an opportunity, in my opinion, to end this season with some form of success. And I'll tell you why I say that, because at this moment in time, results have started to go our way, not just in the wins that we've picked up against Luton and Crystal Palace and whoever else, but also in the teams that are above us in the table at this moment in time, managing to not pick up wins. And as things stand right now, things would really need to go our way. But we could potentially, by the end of game week 22, be as high as 6th in the Premier League table. Now, I've said it time in, time out on this channel, but I really do believe that Chelsea will be going through in the second leg of our League Cup semi-final against Middlesbrough and making that trip to Wembley. And if we were to go to Wembley and have a one-off game with a chance of securing silverware over what looks like it's going to be Liverpool, and we were to finish 6th in the Premier League, it's not where we will want to be. It's maybe not where we're expecting to be at the start of the season, but for me, I would deem that a borderline successful season, having potentially qualified for the Europa League and having a competition next year to look forward to, European away days to look forward to, for the team to be able to build and grow. But with the inconsistency that we've shown throughout this season, can I wholeheartedly say that I expect us to be able to capitalise on the way it seems that things are panning out for us right now? No, I can't wholeheartedly say that, but there is something that can change my mind on that, and this is why I say it is an opportunity that I am absolutely desperate for, and that is the fact that it is being reported in the Telegraph and other mainstream media at the moment that Chelsea are considering the option of bringing in a couple of players potentially from the Saudi Pro League, and one of those players is Karim Benzema. Now, we're also hearing of Roberto Firmino and Alexander Mitrovic, but let me just proudly speak for the whole fan base here and tell you it's Benzema, okay? Not Firmino, not Mitrovic. Get Benzema. Right, now I've planted my flag in the ground and made it very clear where I stand on this argument. Let's get into it. But before we do, people, welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. If you are new around here at the end of the video, please do me a massive favour. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content from myself. Also, smash the like on the video right now. If you want Benzema to Chelsea, hit the like button. If you don't, let me know why in the comments. Also, if you are a regular watcher of the channel, you're probably thinking, why is he speaking so weird at the minute? Picked up a slight injury, which on fight week, on fighting Saturday night, isn't ideal, but don't worry about that. We'll get through it. People, let's speak about Benzema. Right, so Karim Benzema is apparently unhappy in the Saudi Pro League. He's gone able from Al Ittihad squad, and I don't think he's been registered in their matchday squad for the next run of games, or he's gone on a training camp, not gone on a training camp. I don't really understand it, but what I do know is Karim Benzema is still a very, very good player. He literally won the Ballon d'Or, less than a year and a half ago. That Ballon d'Or season, hat-trick against PSG and Chelsea in the Champions League, respectively. A brace against Man City. The decisive goal against Chelsea and Man City in the second leg of Real Madrid's fixtures. Player of the season in La Liga, player of the season in the Champions League, the list goes on. Benzema was on fire that season. Even in the next season, he was still pretty good, pretty good. He was really good. He had obviously injury problems in that season, but 31 goals and 6 assists in 43 games is nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, not nothing to be ashamed of. Is fucking good, isn't it? Then he makes the move to the Saudi Pro League, joining Al Ittihad. He takes the bag, as many players did around that time, and many players will do in the future, and he has 14 goal involvements in 15 games, from 9 of those being goals, and I think Benzema has now realised something. I think that Karim Benzema has gone over to the Saudi Pro League, and much like Jordan Henderson seems to, and other players are seeming to at the minute, has realised that maybe he's gone there too soon, okay? We know that the Saudi Pro League is not the best level of football. Yes, you've got some star names in there, sprinkled all over most of the team's squads, but also the depth is just not there, and therefore it's not the most competitive. The other day we saw a game and the Saudis put out that the match capacity was or the attendance, was 800 fans, and I think it was a 12,000-seater stadium or something. If they've put out 800, it's more like 250. You see where I'm going with this. It's just not what the Saudis would want it to be right now. And that means that the players are probably, say if you're Benzema, right, and you've just turned 36 in December, he's still thinking, look, I could do 2-3 seasons in a top European league still, and then I could come out here at 38, 39, and have a couple of years over here earning this sort of money then. So I definitely think that Karim Benzema is thinking, maybe, just maybe, I jumped over here too quick and I need to go back and squeeze the last bit of juice out of these remaining years of my career right now. And some people are getting my comments and they'll argue that it's the human rights and it's different factors of why Benzema might want to leave, but Benzema's a Muslim. Remember that. You know, Sadio Mane is also a Muslim player. Obviously, Mo Salah, a player that they want to attract. So I don't think that the way of life over there is going to be something that is a hindrance to a lot of these guys, you know. It's a Muslim country, and obviously Benzema himself being a Muslim, I don't think that it's anything to do with living conditions, way of life, anything to do with human rights or anything like that. I just think that Benzema wants to play football at a higher level, okay? And we look at Benzema at 36 years old. In the modern game, the way that these players are looking after their bodies and controlling their injuries and stuff like that, 36 isn't that old, you know? You look at Cristiano Ronaldo a couple of seasons ago, who's obviously playing over in Saudi himself. A couple of seasons ago, he's scoring, 20 goals in a season for Man United in the Premier League at 36 years old. Even this season, joint top goal scorer Mo Salah, who's also laying on assists left, right and centre, he's 31 years old, you know. So 36 years old isn't... It's past his best. It's definitely past Benzema's best, but still good enough to lead the line for Chelsea, I can tell you that. Now, I don't care how much money you've got. Nobody wants to lose money. And for that reason, Al Ittihad might see the fact that Benzema's apparently gone AWOL, and they might think, okay, we got options here. We completely seclude him from the squad, and that's not going to do, you know, any benefit to anyone, because Karim Benzema is an asset, and the best thing we can do is probably cash in on that asset. Now, can they cash in on him right now? January window, I don't think anyone can afford him. I don't think anyone can cover the wages unless Benzema drops them, and we will speak about that. But right now, they might be looking at it and they might be thinking, right, we need a bit of damage limitation here. What we firstly need to do is we need to be able to get a bit of money, possibly, hopefully, even a fee back for Karim Benzema, even at the age he's at right now. The second thing we need to do is we need to protect our image, not to be looking like we're holding players prisoner here if they don't want to be here, because also they're still gonna, I should say, want to attract some big names. And I do believe that if Karim Benzema does look like he's being held against his will in Saudi Arabia under the contract he's under, it's going to be hard for them to attract big names going forward. So I think the best thing they can do is loan him out to a European side. Enhance his value once again, because there's always that little bit of a question mark. Now, I would argue that players can spend a couple of months on the sidelines and we're not writing them off. Look how Kevin De Bruyne's just come back after a long layoff. But I would argue that maybe there's a question mark there around just where Benzema is at this moment in time, having been the age he's at and dropped down in the level of play. And I think that if he was to go and bang goals for a European side in a top European league, all of a sudden you could probably get 20, 30 mil for a Benzema, even at this age. Now, we all know that Karim Benzema likes to bang a goal at the bridge, and maybe that'll go in our favour, but we will get on to whether or not Karim Benzema wants to come to Chelsea. But let me just lay one thing down on the table. I tell you now, for absolute certain, that Benzema will slot straight in to this Chelsea side. Chelsea rank very high on big chances created in the Premier League this season. We're above Arsenal, we're above Aston Villa, we're above Man United, Brighton, all of which are teams that at this moment in time are above us in the Premier League table. So we do lay on a lot of chances. And when you look at Sterling, Palmer, Nkunku, Madueke, these guys would love a Karim Benzema on the end of the chances that they're laying on and assisting to Karim Benzema. And Benzema would bang them goals in for fun. You know he would. It would be a challenge to him coming to another league that he hasn't played in before and being given the opportunity to show his worth once again. Because if you give Karim Benzema the sort of chances that we are laying on to Amanda Broha and Nicholas Jackson, there is no hesitation. It is night and day. The ball isn't stuck under Benzema's feet. There's no second guessing. Benzema puts his foot through him and scores goals for Chelsea. And when you look at Benzema stylistically as a Chelsea striker, we know Chelsea have got a bit of a number 9 curse, but stylistically, the sort of strikers that do flourish at Chelsea are the strong, physical, overruling, relentless strikers. The Jimmy Floyd, Hasselbank, Diego Costa, Didier Drogba. Karim Benzema is in that mould. Mauricio Pochettino loves a target man. We've seen him in recent weeks switch to a bit of a false 9 system, and obviously at his time in PSG, PSG because of the star names that, the board made sure he had on the pitch. Maybe he couldn't do it always. But at Southampton, he had a target man. At Tottenham, he had a target man. At Chelsea so far, he's played with a target man. And although Benzema probably wouldn't be short of options, who can really afford him? Who can really afford them wages? He's on 3 million a week at the moment at Al Ittihad. We're not going to be able to afford that. But maybe, just maybe, Benzema would understand that, look, you might, if you sever ties nicely and keep some sort of relationship, you might still be able to earn that money. Maybe in this short amount of time, he's already earned enough that he's happy with it. And maybe the football comes ahead of the money for him right now. And you'd very much think that that's the case, So, look, he could take a tenth for the money and he'd still be our highest earner, maybe apart from Raheem Sterling or something like that. But maybe Al Ittihad would cover some of the wages. And if you look at it, it's only the Premier League that could afford to pay Benzema 300 grand or something like that a week anyway, So, Man United are out of the question. They've ruled themselves out. Newcastle's hands are tied by FFP. They're not going to be able to get him. Can't see any of the other big clubs going for him. So, Chelsea are the ones, surely, that should at least try and explore the possibility and make a play to go and get Karim Benzema. Now, Chelsea have done deals with the Saudis in the past, Koulibaly went there. Obviously, Kante went there. And it's a very badly kept secret that Chelsea have got Saudi money within Tobolli's consortium that bought the club, and it's not necessarily the most far-fetched and unreal thing to possibly happen that Karim Benzema could potentially come to Chelsea, do 4 months or so, and then decide what he wants to do with his future. And I'll tell you one thing, right? I know we've got this policy of, we don't sign players over the age of 25, but in the short term, look how that's going for us. We are crying out for an experienced number 9 to be able to come and guarantee us goals. And Karim Benzema guarantees you goals. If he could come in January, 4 or 5 months, look, I'm not saying we get Champions League football, but right now I'm saying there's no chance of us getting Champions League football. You look at the teams that are above us and the results they're grinding out and the ways they're performing, there's no chance that we get Champions League football right now, unless something miraculously clicks, which, I don't know what we're hanging that hope on. If we think it's going to happen. But if Karim Benzema comes in, yes, we've still got defensive problems, but I tell you what, score a lot more goals. And then I think we are within a chance of Champions League football. If you're Todd Bowley, if you're Egg Barley, your ears need to perk up right now, because I know you're watching, and you need to realise that this is the chance. By hook or by crook, we have had the stars align somehow to be able to sit in a position we do in the league at the moment. And I get it, before the season started, I wouldn't say the stars are aligned for us to be sitting 8th. But with how poor and inconsistent we've been at times, for us to be in this position at the moment, where, as I say, by the end of game week 22, we could potentially be as high as 6th, and then within touching distance, not touching distance, but at least close as anyone else is to getting those Champions League spots, then this season could be salvaged. It really could be salvaged. And look, it's unlikely we're going to want to go for Victor Osimhen. And we've literally heard we're not going to go for Victor Osimhen in January. So imagine how perfect, how ideal this could be. If we went out and signed Karim Benzema on a 4-month loan, he secured us a load of goals until the end of the season, and we get a pre-agreement done for Victor Osimhen. That would be the dream scenario. As a Chelsea fan, am I wrong? You can tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. Hit the like now if that is the dream scenario. Benzema to the rest of the season, pre-agreement done for Victor Osimhen. I think that's absolutely unreal. But let's talk about the other options, right? Because they're saying about Roberto Firmino. Roberto Firmino is a good player, man, but his best goal contribution, I shouldn't say contribution because he laid on a lot of assists, but his best number of goals, I think was 15 in the league for Liverpool. Obviously, he had Salah and Mane either side of him. An unreal attacking front three. But him himself, in terms of Firmino, used to drop a little bit deeper. The other boys used to push on. He's not going to be the man that we can hang our hat on to go and get us 15 goals between now and the end of the season. Benzema could, but Firmino isn't. And when you look at it creativity-wise and what he can make for us, the opportunities he can give to other boys, we don't need that. We make a lot of opportunities. As I said, we rank very high in the league for the teams that make the most big chances, but we can't have anyone, we don't have anyone on the end of it, I should say, at the moment, that can finish their dinner. Took me a while to say that. Ironically, I can't finish my dinner at a minute because I'm on a diet and my mouth is fucked. Anyway, don't worry about that. Yeah, I don't think we go for Firmino. Mitrovic, he's looked good over there, and he looked good for Fulham. Banged loads of goals in the Championship, but when he was in the Premier League, what did he score? 14, 15 goals? if Nicholas Jackson plays every game until the end of the season right now, he's on course to score that amount of goals. Is Mitrovic better than Jackson? Don't know. Don't know. And if we're thinking about going and getting a player who's going to be on high wages because what they're earning over in Saudi at the minute, do you need to guarantee that that player is better than Nicholas Jackson? Yes. Is Karim Benzema better than Nicholas Jackson? You don't need me to answer that one. I know it might seem simplistic. I know it might seem reactionary. I know you've probably seen other really good Chelsea content creators cover this in videos before, but this is my plea. If ever this lands in the lap of Todd Bowley or Egg Barley or anyone else that runs Chelsea Football Club, please go and do it. It's a tap-in. This is a tap-in. You go and get Benzema, or at least explore the possibility. Benzema might not want to come to us, but if he does, explore the possibility, because if you go and get him, I'm telling you now, we're in a Champions League race if you get Benzema. For me, Chelsea's defence really needs looking at and sorting out, because we're hanging our hopes on Thiago Silva. I think we need to bring another one in, hopefully get Chilwell back to fitness and move Colwell over. I did not like the fact that Chilwell came on and played left wing, okay? But he was coming back from injury. When Reece James came back from injury as a sub against Arsenal, he came on and played centre mid. Then we saw him at right back. Chile needs to be at left back. Colwell needs to be in the middle next to Thiago Silva. Badiashiel's hit and miss at the minute. Disasi's not up to scratch for me, but I know you lot gave me a bit of stick in the comments for saying that. And for that reason, there's question marks around our defence. And maybe we'll address it in January, maybe we won't. But if we address the number 9 position, I'm telling you, Nkunku, Palmer, Sterling, Madueke, Mudryk, all of those boys would love Benzema in there, because they will get their assist numbers right up, because Benzema will finish his dinner every single time. People, am I deluded? Am I crazy here? I think there's a crazy world in which this can happen, and we need to make it happen. As I say, smash the like button if you want it to happen. If you don't, tell me why in the comments. Thank you very much for sticking around to the end of another video, people. I will just say, once again, I know my words are coming out a bit weird here, but yeah, I'm fighting on Saturday night. It's going to be good. Don't worry. I've got a bit of an injury. It doesn't matter. I'm fighting Saturday night. I'm going to smash it. So make sure you guys are watching. The link in the description will take you to tickets to my fight, and you can come along and watch if you want. Have a beer with me after. If not, it is live on the Zone worldwide. So tune in on Saturday night, 6 p.m. Joey Knight against Most Wanted. I think it's the first fight on the card. It's going to be good. You lot are going to see a boxing lesson Saturday night. People, smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one.